you did. Yeah, I know. And I wanna talk about it. And I know you don't.
Welcome to Womanhood London.
Yep.
My name's Monique, I'm your host, and we have
Nicole, I'm also your host. Tonight we've actually been really fortunate. We've got two guests with us. Would you like to
introduce them?
Sure. So hello everyone. My name is Alexandra Bernard Simmons. I'm the founder of an international brand called Think Like a Boss. And when we say Think Like a Boss, it's becoming the CEO of your life and taking back control. Under Think Like a Boss, I am a TV producer, a TV host, a podcast host, an author, and we also have Think Like a Boss programs that are in high schools to teach teens to become entrepreneurs before they even graduate. And lastly, we have Think Like a Boss retreats where I take women all across the world.
Cool.
That is so cool. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And we have
Hello, I'm Katie Weir. I've been thinking like a boss for a while now,
All right.
but I'm sure you can help me. I'm a professional bra fitter. I'm also a PR manager for Calvi Kate Lingerie and Scantily Lingerie. I own my own bra fitting and body positivity business called Wear Wonderful Fit. I'm an all-round party girl and single lady.
Perfect.
so we're going to start with dating, and we just figured that, you know, there's fun in dating, there's difficulties in dating, and we just wanted to like go through what we've
Today's dating game.
Yeah.
I feel like the first thing was some of the statistics that I came across, which were really interesting, were actually single women between 18 and 49. That the number of single women, that's doubled in the last 30 years, which is not really surprising when you think about when you're looking around yourself today and how much women have changed, what they're looking for, what they want. I think that's obviously a massive part of that reason, but it was crazy for me to see that it's actually doubled. It's gone from 18% to 36%, so 36% of women between 18 and 49 are single ladies. Yeah, that is actually quite
Why
a lot.
do you think that is?
I wonder how many of those were married. Did it say that and then divorced and now single?
That's a good
4%
point.
were divorced,
4%.
and now single. 1%
Oh,
widowed.
1%. Wow.
No,
Okay.
4% divorced and 1% widowed.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
I feel like one reason for that though is right now in 2019, I feel like women know it's okay to go for their dreams now.
Yeah.
Before, I feel like they were more focused on, I need to get married right away, right? That was like the thing. But now we realize that we can have our own dreams and goals. So maybe marriage is not the ultimate goal.
And I think as women have become stronger in their own empowerment, men aren't quite chasing us with that. So we're kind of like moving forward. And then for me, like personally, I'm finding guys that can't keep up with my lifestyle. And like, yeah, I want a boyfriend, but like, you gotta keep up with me, babe, and keep me on my toes. But they can't. They're like, I don't know what to do with this woman. Like, she's going here and there, and I just want to sit on the couch and eat burritos. And I'm like, nah. Do you know? So I think we've got our own dreams, but they're not keeping up with us either. I'm sure.
So do you think that they are intimidated?
I was going to say
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
They are? Okay, yeah. I think so too.
I do.
Yeah.
And I think they'll deny it, but they are.
What do you think intimidates them?
I think
Like for
confidence.
yourself?
So for me, there's a song by Miguel called "The Pussy Is Mine," and it's very much like that pussy is mine, and it's gonna be mine, and I'm gonna keep my girl. And I think that was much easier back in the day when women weren't so empowered. They weren't going out. We weren't meeting so many people, and now like every day is our catwalk. Every day is an opportunity to meet loads of people.
That's what we were saying.
And the guy has to be incredibly confident in himself, and I think that's where a lot of the issues are. Is the guy is self-doubts and he is a little insecure, and unfortunately he's putting that on the most beautiful women. Multiple guys are doing it to strong, independent women, and hopefully we're strong enough not to be brought down, but it's really hard. You have to be really strong to not be affected by someone else's insecurities.
Yeah,
100%.
I agree.
That's what I found.
But I think also the dating game is changing. I feel like a lot of my friends are coming back to me all the time. They're saying, no, it's getting so much harder. I just can't meet anyone. And obviously, you know, as women age, I think, you know, their interests change and maybe the way that they interact with people. But I actually also think that even something like this, a space where I feel like women have found so much more fulfillment lately in each other. So maybe we're not looking for as much fulfillment from guys.
But don't you also think it's to do with, like, it's not done the normal conventional way? There's lots of apps now. There's, you know, it's just a swipe. No one walks down the street anymore. And actually, I prefer the old way. But realistically, I think I'll probably find a man or men more on an app than the chance of me walking down Oxford Street where they approach or something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you.
To piggyback off of that too, I think that not only has that changed, but it actually changed the way we socialize. So now that we are going to apps and these social type of online dating, now these walls are up even stronger. So it's harder for men and women to start trusting each other because it kind of like evolved into this, okay, you're a player, I'm a player, we're all gonna play each other because I'm tired of getting played. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm seeing too. I feel like women have evolved from, you know what, I don't really need this, you know, the notebook or, you know, type of love anymore because my wall is up because of what I've actually had to go through. So they evolved past that. Yeah. That's what I'm seeing.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I think like with the whole swiping situation, obviously we go on a date with someone, we enjoy it, but then we go back to our phones afterwards and Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, whatever comes back up and then we still keep swiping and we're still like, not because we're looking for the next best thing, but sometimes it's like, oh,
but there's a lot of options. Yeah, once you're, okay, so like
I've never done it. I've never actually used an app.
I haven't either.
I deactivated Bumble. I literally deactivated Bumble because I was like, universe, help me. Help a girl out. I'm tired of swiping.
And also, I find, for me, I just think dating also is very repetitive. Yeah. You're constantly saying, my name's Monique, and my favourite colour is, and it's just constant. I think it's really tiring to constantly say all these things to different people that you meet until you find the right person or the right connection.
And how long do you wait for them to message you back on Bumble until you realise
that I don't know because I'm not on Bumble.
Okay, yeah, so like,
how does it work?
That's the thing. Okay, so you obviously you're swiping right, you swipe left to the ones you don't like, and then you're like, oh, hottie, great, we matched, amazing, and then a woman has to speak, and this is another thing, going back to the whole insecurity thing. So I have been on Tinder and I've been on Bumble. I haven't been on Hinge or any other dating like websites. But Bumble, the woman has to speak first. And my first impressions of the app in comparison to Tinder was that aesthetically the men were a lot better, but like they were, you know, they were.
What, the interest in them or the look?
Just the look of the guy, you know, and kind of like this is what I gained from it. And I remember my dad once saying to me, because I was in a club and like all the guys that weren't really my type kept on coming to chat me up, and I was like, really, do they think? And I sort of went, no. And I was like, Dad, I'm really upset because, you know, all the guys, like the good looking ones are over there, the ones I find attractive, but it's the ones that I don't keep coming up to me, and I'm like, no, like, I'm sorry. And he went, Katie, this is because that good looking guy, the one that is deemed as good looking, has an ego to lose. Yes. And his problem is if he comes over to you and you're like, mate, no, he is hard, like, and his ego is knocked, so he won't even try. Whereas the guy that's kind of like, I've got nothing to lose, let's go for it, he'll come up to you. And Bumble's the same. So a girl has to speak first. A guy can't.
Would you, so in saying that, because you said Bumble, the girl speaks first. So in reality, because I'm not the swiper girl, would you not approach the guy that you like?
I would. 100%. Oh my god, I always do. I get what I want, and then I'm bored.
I get what I want. But that's the thing. That some guys are so intimidated by that, though. Like, oh my god, she's aggressive.
Yeah.
I find the opposite. I find that they actually like the confidence that she's actually come up to me and said, I find you attractive.
At first.
Oh, right.
So I find
right? Yeah. And then it's like, oh no, she's way too confident for me.
And she's like this all the time. Like, she doesn't let up. Like, this is who she is. Like, I thought she was just being confident chatting to me, but oh, she's actually like that all the time. I can't deal with this. Like, yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I saw it takes, so we're talking about dating apps, 12 billion swipes, 1 billion swipes to get 12 million matches. And it doesn't sound that excessive, but a billion is a really long way from 12 million.
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time. That's a lot of swiping.
That's a lot of swiping.
That's a lot of swiping.
Wow.
And I just wonder, like, with regards to kind of like the traditional, you know, old school meeting someone through someone, I think we've talked about this before, about like men's world has also changed. Like the rise of, you know, like they feel sometimes intimidated. They also feel that they have to be more careful, like they can't approach someone at work, for example. We've had a lot of guys give us feedback that are a bit like, oh, you know, like I don't feel comfortable saying that anymore, I don't want to be accused of anything, or I you know, like a lot of them are also kind of, you know what, I'm just not going to do anything, I'm not going to say anything, so unless she approaches me, I'm just not going to, you know, like be forthcoming, because they're worried about, you know, that they say something or they ask about too many times, and the whole Me Too movement has also changed their world. And I think, you know, as women, we need to understand that and onboard that a little bit, because
I think we need to understand it, but I think we can educate men, or men can educate men, like we as women are educating women on how to speak to women. And there's a Me Too movement for a reason, and it's guys pushing the boundaries. You know, going up to a lady and sparking a conversation about a date or her, you know, there's a way to go about it. It's not kind of like, you know, I get it all the time. Oh, you've got great boobs. So I'm going to take you home to my parents. Like, that's great. This is how we're starting it. You know, it's kind of that way. Like, they need to be educated.
You're right, because I educate my son, and he's 15, and I feel like it's so
hopefully
important.
With this new generation of women, the new generation of male will have a lot more respect for women, hopefully, and be kind of a bit more in touch with that.
But the key word is that she educates herself. The men aren't educating each other. I don't think they care that much. They just like, we go to the bar, right? Like everything else is out the window. Like that's just it. So it's just the fact that we're constantly in the front lines trying to change something. So,
and I do find when I date guys who have got perhaps 3 sisters, they are a different type of guy.
Absolutely.
Like I don't know what it is. Like I can just sense it. I'm like, you've got sisters, haven't you? And they're like, yeah.
I think it could be either or. I think if they've got sisters, they can either be a spoiled brat.
Oh, okay.
Or they're educated to how to treat women, or it all depends on if they're mothered, and you know, it just depends.
Yeah, that's true.
And they expect you to do everything because that's what mum and
that's
sisters
mama's
done.
boys.
No, but sisters as well. Mum and sisters, everyone's done it
scary.
So they expect you then to do everything.
Right.
So I think it
hard
depends.
out there, guys.
It's hard. Has anyone got any like dating stories? No. Everyone's gone quiet.
How many single ladies have we got? Okay,
Got
actively
dating.
Dating a little bit. Okay.
Sometimes when I'm ready. Like sometimes. If I'm in the mood.
What about us? Single girl?
Single
girl? Not single girl?
Married girl. Oh, girl.
So everybody just wants to hear from you.
I know. I'm always saying to my married friends, like, tell me.
How did you get there? So I tell the story all the time. People think I'm crazy, right? So my husband might have proposed to me 2 or 3 times, and I said no. Yes, because marriage wasn't my top priority, right? And when you think of marriage and the tradition behind it, I do not want to cook for you. I have so much dreams and not that much time. You know, like I just had such an agenda, and I kept telling him, I'm not marriage material, because I know how big my dreams are. Like right now I'm in London by myself for 2 weeks, right? He's at home with our son. And that's just the vision that I had. So I had to break down what traditional marriage was, because I had to make sure I was marrying based on my personality and not what tradition based on marriage. Right. So for us, we don't focus on gender roles. We focus on what we are good at. God loves me so much that I married someone that loves how to cook. Because sis don't know how to cook. Okay? Right? And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, and I'm just amazing with money. So he's like, babe, whatever, how much it costs, I know you know what you're doing. Right? So, but the fact is, I said no because I know me. And we've been together for 15 years. So he's seen me growing up to the woman that I am now. So luckily for me, He was there before the empire started. He was there when I was just writing out the blueprint. So now if I'm at an event and I took 1,000 steps, I know that he took 1,001.
Yeah.
Because he is such a huge support, and I give him the same thing vice versa. That reciprocity is so important. And if you are dating, looking for somebody, that's the number one thing that you need to make sure is there, that you both are being equally yoked.
It's in my bio.
Can I just take something, sorry to interrupt you, can I just take something, I'm so glad you brought that point up, because you've hit the nail on the head of something that I've learned in the last year or so that has transformed my dating. And it's about energy, not gender. Because I feel that what's happened is, as women, as we've progressed through the sexual revolution, we've kind of got our roles, the energy a little bit screwed.
Right.
So you can't have, like there's a Jamaican saying, 2 bulls can't reign in 1 pen. You can't have 2 masculine energies. So if you're a strong, independent woman doing your thing, expecting a strong, independent man to be your equal is never going to happen, because you're coming from 2 different energies.
Right.
Whereas you've eloquently demonstrated that you are masculine energy. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do have masculine. I know
I
I do.
gender. Not about gender, but I'm about the energy.
Yeah.
Masculine energy pushes and feminine energy recedes. And so your partner, your husband, it does the feminine role. It's not about gender, sexuality. It's about the energy, which direction it flows. So he does completely perfectly, which is probably why exactly what you said.
That's exactly what I was looking for. Like, my personality is so boisterous that I needed that personality to kind of mellow me out. Because he's so emotional. Right? Yeah. Whereas I'm not. I'm like, what you crying about? What happened? Right? But that is my opposite.
Yeah. It's the match.
Yeah. And I think that's where the whole opposites attract come from. We're not just talking about looks, we're not just talking about man, women.
Energy.
We are talking about energy and personality and all of these things. Soft, hard, strong, soft. I want to say weak, but I'm going to say that. No. Word. But these opposites attract, and that's what it's about. So I think if you're looking for someone who matches you identically, you'll really struggle.
Because it doesn't work in nature. It's not natural to have 2 pluses.
Yeah.
Because a battery can't work that way. There has to be. And I think for a lot of women, what's happened is, as we've become more successful and powerful in our feminine energy, we've done it at the cost of our femininity almost. So you'll go out and you expect a man to talk to you, but how dare you talk to me? Who do you think you talk to? At the same time, you can't have it both ways.
No.
And I feel that from my own dating experience that has transformed, because I'm a strong independent woman. Do you know what I mean? But then I realised that you have to choose between, am I a feminine woman, or am I masculine energy? Am I a feminine energy woman, or am I a masculine feminine energy woman? In which case, you have to choose a side. And since I've decided to embody the feminine energy woman and to take that role, and it's in the traditional kind of feminine role, I'm still me. I'm still making money. I'm still doing my own thing. But I have changed my language in how I speak to men, and it's transformed. So I never tell a man, never ask a man, how do you feel? Because they don't have the capacity to explain feelings. They think. So by saying something as simple as, what do you think? To all the men in my life, my whole world has changed.
Absolutely.
Because their instinct is to protect and provide.
Right.
Men want to know how you feel. They don't. Masculine men want to know how you feel. Masculine men don't want to know what you think, because they're the thinkers. And they're problem solvers, and they want to solve problems. And if you tell them what you're thinking, there's no problem for them to solve. So what's the point of them being there? That's just been my experience. It's transformed my dating. It's fun.
You're so right in that. Like, sometimes as a strong woman, I still know when to submit.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I can still play the damsel in distress in times, just so he can still feel like he's a man, because he's definitely the protector. He's definitely the provider. It's just that I make sure that I'm still myself.
Yes, same.
As
IKEA.
well.
I think that's important.
As soon as you come back from IKEA.
Exactly. I play like, I don't know what to do. He's like, oh, bro. He's so happy to do that.
For days on end.
I think what you said is really important. I think it's important for a man to still feel like a man in a relationship. And I think the problem is, because some of us are raised by strong women, or whether it's just your mum raising you as well, you end up taking both roles, because it's a generational thing. And then it's a learning thing, though. It's definitely learning, actually, I can do that, but I'm going to sit back and let him do it.
Yeah.
It's having patience.
Yeah.
And like I think, you know, millennial women, we live such a fast-paced life as well, and we're just used to doing things at 100 miles an hour, including dating. Like, okay, so you're not saying the right things in 10 minutes, you're gone.
That's me.
Yeah, no, it is. And like I've been single for a very long time, but I've been dating, and I enjoy the dating game. And I was recently dating a guy, and I cooked him dinner, and bless him, he washed up. But he took so long at washing up. And I just looked at him and I was like, babe, why is this taking you so long? Like, I would have done this in 10 minutes. And then we got in a bit of an argument because he was like, well, you know, do you want me to do it or not? And I'm like, well, it's really nice you're doing it. And then I called me and my parents, we have like a WhatsApp group, and I was like, what, like this happened? And they know everything. So I'm writing a book about every man I've ever encountered since like the age of 18. And they were like, Katie, you should have just sat back and let him do it. But I think there is that masculine, feminine thing that perhaps I struggle with because...
In that though, some people, they're doing something for you. So that's him showing his affection to you, and you kind of knocked that.
I know, that's what my parents said. They were like, you should have just let him wash up. It doesn't matter how long it took.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, well, we could be doing something much nicer than you just sat at the sink and me sit on the sofa. Like, we could be cuddling. You're still washing up. Why?
That's so
It's just a frustration.
It's funny you said about the whole 10-minute thing, because for me, if I approach a guy and our first encounter, that first conversation doesn't ignite for me, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, you've really got to blow my mind with conversation. If you do not, my goodness, you could be the most attractive guy, and immediately I don't see the
So basically, you need an elevator pitch in order to deal with her.
It's like The Apprentice. What do they say? Like within 13 seconds of someone walking into a room, you've made up your mind if you want to hire them or not.
Yeah.
Like that.
Weirdly, I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
Like, people have to grow on me.
Oh, I just
That's not grow on you. It's a grow on. I'm on it all the time. Like,
What do you mean grow?
Like, so I've
But there
got
must
no
be
opinion.
but there must be an initial attraction. So there is something.
So do you know what? I actually let go of that a really, really long time ago. I tried not to have like a type. I tried not to have like anything and just be like, and I know it sounds really silly, but I suppose going through lots of different things, I got to a point where I was like, I can't be asked with any of this anymore. Like, if there isn't like something on a personality level, something that I can really feel inside, then like we can't get to know each other. I don't care how good looking you are, because you know some of them really good looking ones.
That's what I say. The first 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. If you're
So
good
like
looking.
the whole like, so the attraction has to kind of come from like something that I'm feeling inside, and very often I know that I have to give it time, because that has to like grow in me. Like, it takes me a while to like get going with people.
But that initial meet,
Yeah.
you're talking about a bit into it.
Even the initial meet,
So
I'm
what's-
like,
that's a good point.
So if you feel
I don't know.
That's a good point. My
Like,
husband is not my type. He was not my type.
Yeah.
At all. And he
people
completely
just-
blew me away.
Exactly.
After growing on me, though. Because I was like,
Yeah.
you know. But after...
Yeah.
But it's like
me,
he was
it's
like,
also like,
you're
he's-
my woman, you might be
Yes.
his type, and he's worked really hard to get
He worked
you.
very hard.
And I think that's where it works. It's either like you're very into that person and you're going to make them yours in that, not like ownership, but like
But I like
want
that.
you.
I like that someone
wore me down.
chasing. I love
Yeah,
that.
but that has to, someone in the relationship, someone on either side has to feel that
Yeah,
way
yeah.
inclined to get that person.
Yeah.
And I think that's how relationships might work. I don't know if it's like both of you have this mind-blowing, oh my God, you're both incredible, because it burns out quickly. And that's
Yeah, see, that's why I think this whole, like, I like to take my time with people and get to know them. Obviously, now I'm in a relationship, but it took time, like, and I think it was more the being sort of, like, open and, like, okay, I'm open to see what you might say, what you might bring to the table, who you are, but I don't have an answer for you anytime soon.
It's natural bonding sequence.
Yeah, it just, for
Genetically,
me,
there's bonding
I
sequence
never
that
had
we
that
go through.
explosive chemistry straight from, like, the first, like, maybe something cute that you could...
I did that and it will. Right? I feel like it really doesn't.
I disagree, because when I talk about mind blowing, I'm talking about intelligent conversation.
Yeah.
I'm talking about stimulating my mind, and I have met people where they have blown me away by a stimulating conversation. Not I think you're getting it confused as to when I'm saying blow my mind. It's literally, I'm not talking about soaps and shit. I'm talking about, something that we have good interest on, where you can, I don't know, pull anything, but it's just stimulating.
What if he's having a crap morning?
I'm sorry.
I'm joking.
First impressions with this one.
My friend, he gave me this advice, and he's my best friend, and he's a guy, he's a straight guy, and he's such a good person to have in my life because he gives me guy perspective on everything. And he said to me, Katie, what you need to do is keep your expectations low and your standards high. And because every time I was with a guy, like for example, I was dating a model once, and he went to South Africa on a shoot, and I was like, if he doesn't come back with 100 mil of Tom Ford from duty free, it's over. And Danny was like, what do you want about, Katie? Like, what? How, have you told him that's what you want? I'm like, no, he should just know because he's seen it in my bathroom and it's running low. But like, I think I watched too many movies.
Your expectations were like...
Yeah, but like that's kind of like, I hear stories of it and I'm like, I want that. Like I wanted that.
Was you a fairy tale girl then?
I guess so, and to some element I still am because I've had it. Like like it didn't work for certain reasons, and they were reasons out of both of our control. Both times I felt like I was in a magical place. And I know that I felt that. I felt love, and I felt the buzz of not only conversation but just like looking in someone's eyes and seeing their soul, and I've been there. So for me, every time I date someone, I'm like, I know it might feel different, but I know I felt it twice, and I know that I felt that. So why should I keep, let it grow, whatever? When I know I've had that from the minute I met someone, like.
And I feel like when you've had that, you do want it again.
You do want it again,
that
and
again.
you know you can.
Yeah.
But is that the long lasting? I don't know.
So you're not settling pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Good. I don't want
a lot of women settle, unfortunately.
But then, okay, I think sometimes with regards to settling, there's also like another element to it. So women have clock, and it's if they have a wish to become a mum one day, I think that really starts to like wreak havoc. Sort of now it keeps moving, but you get to your mid-30s today, and if something hasn't worked out, and one of your big desires or dreams is to be a mum, you keep having this, and there's that fairy tale idea of how you're going to get to be a mum, and it's just not. I think that just kind of messes with the way that you think.
100%, and I'm in such a battle right now with my parents. Like, they love me, I'm an only child, and they're so proud of my career, but at the same time they're like, so we bought this really big house and we've got room for the grandchildren. And I'm like, okay, I'm single, I'm trying really hard here, and then they just keep dropping it in. But then they're like, don't worry, there's no rush. When back in the day, we got married very early and but there's no rush. But then in the same breath, but we've got this for the grandkids. And I'm just like, I want to please them, but I want to please myself at the same time. And that for me is the hardest thing.
That's another, on the flip side, because I'm a single parent, so I think being single with children is a completely different
beast.
Yeah. It's a different area, and I think people are definitely protective over my children as well. So I don't know. I think that's another.
I think that plays in the back of your head. So I was a single mum with 2 children, and now I've met someone new. We've had a child, but I think I never let that be a thing that was like at the forefront of my head. Only because I really truly believe that if you were trying to get to know me, you kind of knew. What was involved in this, and if that was going to be an issue, you probably, hopefully, never asked my number. Maybe you would have done, but then we probably still wouldn't be speaking a month or 2 down the line. Because at this point, that's just not something.
That's not my issue. My issue is allowing someone to bring it into my
that's hard.
Circle.
Yeah, that's tight.
And then effing it up.
Yeah,
that's
like.
So believe it or not, my husband is my son's stepfather.
Cool.
Down the line, he ended up adopting him.
Oh, wow.
But it just reminds me of what you were saying. I was really stickler in regards to what I wanted because I had a little baby with me.
Yeah.
So that's why it was, if you're going to marry me, it's going to be on my terms type of thing. Like, it's not going to be anything that I settled for. I'm not giving up myself. I'm not giving up the safety of my child, right? So just like you said, I had to make sure he was okay in our circle. So like within the first 3 years, like I didn't have my son calling him daddy or anything like that. We're not playing those games because I don't really know your intentions yet. I mean, I'm talking 2 or 3 years. Now when year 4 and 5 came, we got married in year 6. So it was just really making sure that this was a God-ordained type of connection because you have that child component. Like, you have to protect your child.
Exactly.
So,
That's
yeah, I completely understand where you were. And it's such a hard decision, but you have to look to see, believe it or not, children and animals, right? Children and animals, they will tell you. They will tell you.
You don't even need to ask yourself. Yeah, they will tell you.
So I was watching my son's interaction with him, and every time he came into the room, my son's face lit up. And I'm like, this is it. Yeah, this is it.
My hamster tells me.
Your hamster. Yo, I'm telling you, animals and kids, they know.
So funny.
Well, we are going to wrap it up now for the dating part. Thank you all for participating.
Yeah, do we have any final... Actually, can I just give some dating tips that a load of guys gave me? I just thought it was interesting, and I thought I would just like... Yeah, you got it. Okay.
Let's go.
So, let me actually just get it so I say word for word what they said.
Yes.
Okay.
Pen and paper.
So, this was actually really important. It came up most. On the first date, offer to go halves. Whether he'll accept it or he won't accept it, it's actually something that a lot of guys have started saying that there's
I think a woman
something
should.
they're looking
though. I think you should
for.
just
On a
sit there
first
like a
date,
princess.
On the first date, offer to pay half. Don't ever compare him to an ex. I mean, I feel that goes both ways. That's not just like for men. Like, no, yeah, like everyone else. Don't over-research them.
Why?
Apparently that's come
Listen,
off
with
very
social
well.
media, you're
Right,
right.
social media, like, who's liking his picture? Who's commenting?
You have to do research. Be careful.
They're like, yeah, I went to wherever, Croatia in 2008. Yeah,
You know.
okay, be confident. Being yourself, and I think that's one of like the biggest things is in anything you do today is rest assured that you and yourself, like there's no more powerful you than just you, and just like be yourself and be open. And if you were putting on a huge front anyways, it's gonna fall off at some point, and it ain't gonna work out. But so, and then they also said, you know, have some good questions, and this one kept coming up. They thought the best question they'd ever been asked was, what is the one thing that you want to ask me but that you're too nervous to ask me? I thought that was really strange actually, that they have a feeling that they I think they want you to be a little bit nervous. So maybe like be confident, but at the same time
Be a bit shy.
be a bit shy.
Oh, it just goes back to me. It's like, I'm just
They
gonna
want
be
us to-
me. Like, I can't, like, even with their whole
I can't
feminine
pretend.
thinking of what to say to, I'm like, I don't know, am I saying the right thing? Am I saying, like, I just want to say it. And if you like it, you like it.
Yeah.
But maybe they want, are you nervous?
I think again it just goes back to what you were saying about energy and allowing someone to have, you know, like you do probably have to make up your mind who you are going into something. I'm not saying you have to.
Don't have to be fools, because I actually researched, because I'm 47 and I'm single.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And you're
there's
fire, by the way.
I owned it. I was like, okay, there's a reason why I'm at this stage, why I'm single. And to be honest, it's a lot of work. In the sense that, you know what you're saying about being confident. I would take that a step back even further and say, you cannot be confident until you know yourself.
It's true.
And I love
That's
what you said about you being taking your time to get to know somebody, because what you're saying, what I took from that is I have personal integrity and I'm prepared not to sell out myself for something that's less than worthy of me.
Yeah.
But a lot of women don't get to that point. I want a relationship so badly.
Right.
And you have this craziness about you.
Yeah.
Because it's coming from a place of insecurity and not knowing yourself. Because confidence is, I know, I trust, I love myself, I'm worthy.
Yeah,
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And until women understand that that needs to be your core truth, you will never attract the right relationship for you. And what's going to happen is, because I believe I'm an energy healer, that the law of attraction is such that whatever we give out, it comes back to us. So if you are, like I kept dating the same kind of guy. Different trousers, same man. And it turns out that it wasn't about them, it was about where I was at in the loving of myself. And because I had such low self-esteem, although I didn't think it, because I'm really confident, I'm popular, I've got everything going on, but the truth of my core was, I didn't know myself, I didn't love myself, and I was allowing myself to end up in these kind of relationships.
Absolutely.
So the flip side to that was doing that work. The other thing I did was I did research on how do relationships, how do women get married? Do you know what I mean? What is the secret to it? 'Cause there's obviously something that I'm missing. And I went on a quest and did some really powerful, there's some really incredible scientific research out there. There's a lady called Dr. Pat Allen and a guy called Robert Grant. And I followed their research, and basically what they said was decide, masculine or feminine woman, what are you? And you need to stick in your lane. And once you learn to practice that, it makes a difference, like I said. And then what the research shows is that there is an actual bonding process, and it takes 3 months, which is why you'll find if you're a single person, a lot of your relationships burn up within 3 months because it's chemical and you don't know what's happening. And one of the mistakes that women make is not understanding how men process emotion, because a man doesn't have the same freedom that we do, and women expect men to behave like women, but they're not, and that's the mistake that we're making. So what happens is, I'll give you a scenario of the dating situation, is a girl meets a woman meets a man. He thinks she's amazing, and what's happening biologically in him is he's having a hit of cocaine, because they're not allowed to feel things normally. So when he meets this amazing woman who's released all this chemistry in him, he gets, he's like, wow, this is amazing. Woman, because he's treating you nice and he's taking you, he's confident, he's doing all the things you want him to do, and we are more emotional. We assume that he's into us, and that's love. No, this is start love affair. It's not. He's just high. And then we give it up. And because women bond through sex. We've gone through sex with our children, because with kids with breastfeeding, we have oxytocin, that's what I'm trying to say. We have high levels of oxytocin that's natural to us. Men don't have it. They get it in sex. That's where they get that chemistry release. So women will have sex with a man within a couple of weeks, and she will bond with him because she's got oxytocin high already. He's just had a good orgasm, and he's not bonded with you. And then once he's had that hit with you, it starts to wane. It goes, that chemistry drops, and he starts to get disillusioned, and that's when he goes to you, he goes cold on you, he doesn't call you, and in that moment women panic, start phoning and chasing and hunting them down, and the man will freak out. I'm just summarising really smallly, but it's a wonderful sort of thing to research. A man will freak out and go, she's not for me, because you haven't given him a chance to bond with you. And the way to get a man to bond with you is not to have sex with him until he has gone through the process, logically, that you are the woman for him. And now that I've learnt that, I've done this thing called the 90-day challenge. I did this thing called the 90-day challenge. I started on day, I can't remember, on that day 60, where I was dating this time. And we went through the whole process, and I wouldn't have sex with him, even though I wanted to so badly, until he got to the point where he was like, I can't be without you. And it's taken 60 odd days for us to get here.
That is so interesting.
So yeah.
But I want you to touch, if you've got anything more to say on
the
next
next
one.
one.
It's so good, that's amazing.
We're going to have a break, guys.
Okay, we're going to take a break, guys. Thank you so much so far.
I've been holding guard for so long, so long.